Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back for what has become a bit of a tradition on the channel. Today we are looking back at the Season 3 review of the F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory career mode. A very, very up and down season for ourselves, but we're going to be looking at some of the stats and facts from this series. I know it's something that you guys have enjoyed in the past as well. Now in terms of raw numbers, Season 3, arguably our second best result of the season. We finished the highest overall. Obviously in Season 2 we finished 12th. This season we finished 10th. And we also picked up a few more points, but nothing still comes close to Season 1 where we managed to finish best of the rest, and quite clearly best of the rest in the end. Obviously massively, massively helped by our still one and only career victory in the HAAS Road to Glory way, way back in the Season 1 Hungarian Grand Prix. But yeah, looking back though at Season 3, definitely some talking points that can be brought up from this series. And I think the first one that I know has basically been discussed throughout a lot of the end of Season 3. Look at Max Verstappen's dominance. From the Hungarian Grand Prix onwards, the only race he didn't win was in Japan. He won 9 of the last 10 races there. 11 race victories over the course of the championship, I think, is a record in the HAAS Road to Glory career mode there. And yeah, the last time another team but Red Bull won was back at Silverstone at the British Grand Prix halfway through the season there. Red Bull, yeah, won an 11 race victory streak in this season there, which I think has only ever been at least close to achieved once. I'm guessing McLaren must have got really close to that back in the 1988 season with the MP4-4. I know the only race they didn't win that season was Italy, so that must have been close to 11 races. If you guys are aware of the exact number, please do leave it down in the comments below as well for us. But yeah, it was a bit of an odd season though in terms of Red Bull. You know, once, you know, they always showed signs of those great potential of full race victories. You know, Pierre Gasly only winning 2 races. Obviously he started that streak for the team back at Germany. And then obviously Verstappen just decided he was going to dominate the second half of the season. But I mean, he took a win at China back in the 3rd round of the series, and then also a win at Spain. Obviously 2 tracks that really did suit their car. You can see Sebastian Vettel as well, one of the most consistent drivers over the course of the entire season there. And yeah, just having a look at the results. Max Verstappen never DNF from a Grand Prix. Obviously his teammate Pierre Gasly retired from 2 races back at Austria and Singapore. So without those, he probably, I'm inclined to say, would have finished P2 in the Drivers' World Championship there. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel taking home, I think, yeah, he won Season 2 and he finished P2 in Season 1. So he has been far and away the most consistent driver over the course of this series. But what I find really interesting about Sebastian Vettel is the fact that in Season 1 he scored 345 points, didn't win the world title. Season 2, 280 points, did win the world title. And then Season 3, 325 points, and didn't win the world title there. He won the world title on what was, generally speaking, his worst season of the 3 we've had in the HAAS Road to Glory there. But yeah, despite Red Bull taking home, what's that, 13 race victories, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I think, unless my maths has failed me there. Yeah, Sebastian Vettel only got 3 over the course of the season there. That was followed up by Lewis Hamilton taking 1 race victory at the Monaco Grand Prix. Means his streak of results theoretically takes him all the way up to 2021, where he's won at least 1 race in every World Championship there. Hülkenberg as well won Ron Grand Prix at the start of the season back in Azerbaijan. And then you've got Lucas Weber as well taking home 1 race victory at the Australian Grand Prix at the start of the season there. And then Charles Leclerc taking home that 1 race win back in Austria there. 6, 7 different race winners over the course of the championship there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different race winners is quite impressive when you look at just how dominant Red Bull were in the second half of the season there. And yeah, when you just consider the facts that by Austria, this series was looking really, really quite wide open, in all honesty, obviously, and then it quickly just became the Max Verstappen show at the end of the day. And looking into Season 4, I think that is certainly going to be a trend that we continue to see over the course of this series. Now, something else that I think is really, really interesting to have a look at as well is, like I briefly touched on, the reliability that we're now starting to see from the top drivers there. Neither Max Verstappen or Sebastian Vettel retired from any Grand Prix over the course of the season there. Sebastian Vettel's worst result was a 6th place. Max Verstappen's was 2 7th places at the Canadian and British Grand Prix there. Obviously, Gasly had a couple of DNFs. Hamilton had a couple of DNFs. Hulkenberg had a couple of DNFs. So actually 3 DNFs right towards the end of the season. Racing points reliability didn't quite stack up to where it should have been on that second car there. Weber, only the 1 DNF in the Japanese Grand Prix, and that was actually a crash, if I remember correctly. He went side by side, I think it was Devon Butler, down into turn 1 there, and yeah, that was a big, big off for him. Then we got Charles Leclerc, a couple of DNFs, Valtteri Bottas, 1 DNF, and then Lando Norris, always consistent. He only had 2, 3, 4 races where he didn't score points over the entirety of the season. Yeah, never finished. He had 1 5th place at the Singapore Grand Prix. What a crazy race that was at the end of the day there. And yeah, apart from that, pretty much 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th or 10th in most Grand Prix there, or 11th in a few occasions there. Just had that off Mexican Grand Prix where he had issues, the safety car came out, and then I think he just got stuck towards the rear of the field at the end of that race. Now, for us, I'm going to say it was our best season in terms of reliability. Season 2, we had 3 DNFs as well. Season 1, we had 3 DNFs as well. However, Season 3, if you guys remember back that Hungarian Grand Prix, actually I finished that race. I came like 13th, I think it was, and then the race decided it didn't want to save, so we had to, I just obviously DNF'd from it. There was no way I was going to try and suffer that Grand Prix again. So really, I'm saying we only had 2 DNFs over the course of the season there. Looking at our other big stats though, our first season of this series so far, where we got no podiums. We had a 4th place at the British Grand Prix. That was the closest we got, and then a 5th place at Russia. Yeah, they were the only 2 looking potentially like podiums were on the cards at the end of this series there. However, we did take a fastest lap as well back in Austria. Obviously a very, very short circuit there, and yeah, very, very happy with that. Now, really, you know, it was a bit of an up and down series, as you can probably tell. Australia was a tough start for the championship. We had a good result at Bahrain. Then obviously that DNF in China really did set us back. And then after that, we did show some good form. You can see points, what's that, 6 races in a row from Spain, Monaco, Canada, France, Austria, and Britain. And then after that, you know, Germany, 11th place. We botched our pit strategy there, if I'm not mistaken. We were on for a couple of points and then made a mistake. So that could have been 7 races running where we scored points. And then, like I said, Hungary, we just didn't have the pace for points. Spa, we got taken out early on. And then after that, you know, a couple of points results. We actually did score points quite often over the course of Season 2. But it seemed to be offset by quite a few sort of disappointing, you know, 11th through to 14th results as well at the end of the day. 14th was our worst race result of the series there. And that's how we did manage to hold on to P10 overall, ahead of Sergio Perez in the second Williams car there. And he only had 1 retirement over the course of the entire season there. So Williams' reliability looking quite good. Ahead of Devon Butler in Mercedes. He never retired as well there. Then we head to McLaren, and both of their drivers scored all of their points at the crazy Singapore Grand Prix. They're a 7th and 8th place for them. They really did pull the strategy card incredibly, incredibly well. I tell a lie. They also, you can see Carlos Sainz actually scored points on 2 occasions. He finished 9th at Mexico, and Lance Stroll actually finished points as well there. So yeah, actually Stroll finishing ahead of Sainz overall in the championship was something I think I've completely overlooked over the course of this series there. Very good job by the Canadian moving to that team for the start of Season 3. Ricciardo, though, a very, very disappointing year for him. Scored that 1 point at the Belgian Grand Prix there at the end of the day. And yeah, really not the return to Formula 1 he would have wanted. Grosjean, how on earth he's kept his seat for this long, I will never quite understand at the end of the day there. No points, once again, scored a best result of 11th place coming at the French Grand Prix there. It would have been good for him to score points at his home race, but it was never meant to be. Only 2 DNFs as well. And yeah, I think that's 2 seasons running now. Grosjean hasn't scored a single point yet. 2 seasons running, Grosjean hasn't scored in this series there. And he's joined actually by a lot of drivers that didn't end up scoring at the end of the day there. Both Alfa Romeos and both Toro Rossos there. I think Raikkonen did score in Season 2. Yeah, he picked up 2 points in Season 2. And Toro Rosso, still, in the entirety of this series, are yet to score a single point. Danny Kvyat's had a career best result of 12th, I think it is, in this series. Let's just double check that. Yeah, I think it is 12th place is the best result he's ever had in this championship there. And Alex Albon, if I'm not mistaken, his best career result is P13. How depressing is that in the world of Formula 1 there? And yeah, hopefully Season 4 we will see a bit of a resurgence from them, but honestly I'm not expecting it. Toro Rosso and Alfa Romeo are still so far off the rear of the field there. They basically need about 6 seasons of all reg changes and just farm the R&D points as well to try and get anything from those cars. I think they're just stuck, to be honest, at this stage of the series. But Season 4, though, like I've hyped up before, is most likely going to be our last in the HAAS Road to Glory. We'll see what we can muster up, see if we can get any good results, but honestly, we'll wait and see. I'm quietly confident, but that could all come crashing down very, very quickly there. But yeah, thank you all once again for those of you that have stuck around the channel this much. If you did enjoy this video, do get yourself subscribed for Season 4 of the HAAS Road to Glory. I'm going to let you into a little spoiler now. There will not be a driver transfers video, for one simple fact. There are no driver transfers. I couldn't believe it when I came to the Australian Grand Prix. I was so hyped. I was honestly thinking Grosjean would be sacked from HAAS, and no one has changed for what I can only imagine is the first time ever in Formula 1. I mean, the real 2020 season only ever had one driver swap, but yet no one has moved ready for 2020. So I'm sure we're going to see some mid-season driver swaps nonetheless, though. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Do get yourself subscribed, and we will be back next time out. Probably, I think, for the Charles Leclerc Career Mode Episode 2. That'll be going live hopefully tomorrow. And then we will be back probably over the weekend, ready for the Australian Grand Prix.